everybody, welcome back to Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time Minimalist Run. And we are going to finish up the water temple. Oh yes, we are going to be done with this horrid macro puzzle level. The devious design of the dungeon creators of this game. I could almost picture Shigeru Miyamoto playing this dungeon for the first time and figuring out all of its secrets and how this would torment players year after year, decade after decade after this game came out. He would be like, yes, design it more confusing. It was just, yeah, I could totally picture him doing that with his little smug look on his face. Yeah, that was my best impression of him. Not very good, but whatever. So, we have one last thing to do, and that is to raise the water level all the way back up one more time to full, as it was when we first came into the dungeon. Because otherwise, we're not going to be able to have a hookshot target to get to the actual boss door, or the boss corridor to the boss door. So, as mentioned in a previous video, you only really need to lower and raise the water levels twice to get everything in this dungeon. And I remember the first time playing this game, I probably did that about maybe 15, 20 times. Completely lost, no idea what to do. But I have since memorized this game from many attempts at playing it from start to finish. So the water temple is not nearly as bad as it once was. Yep, and that hookshot target would not rise up from the little statue pillar head there unless the water was all the way to the top. Hey, fairies when I don't need them. Ah, this room. I thought there was a trick to this room. When I first played this game, I thought there's gotta be something to hook onto with the long shot. There's just gotta be. Except there isn't. This is the most counterintuitive corridor in the entire dungeon. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to just literally walk up it without spin rolling, because if you roll like you just saw, you lose your momentum walking up and you slide all the way back down because of just the steep nature. Then you look around for hookshot targets. There is none. No hookshot targets. So basically, now is an attempt to try and walk up the side wall, and up, see, one roll, and you're sliding all the way back down. This has got to be the most infuriating part of this entire dungeon, to me personally. I can solve the rest of the dungeon, but getting through this room is just annoying, because if you even get hit once, that's just double pain for my failure. If you get hit once, you're done, and you're sliding all the way back down to the bottom and having to redo the whole thing. This could ruin a good run right here. You get into the boss with full hearts? Nope. You're getting hit several times by spikes. That's really the solution to the room, is literally walk up that steep hill perfectly, flawlessly. Stupid! It's counterintuitive to everything you've done before previously in this dungeon. I don't like that room. Yes, you have to get out in the center of the room, in the actual water, the pillars in the water itself, for the boss to appear. And that's exactly where you do not want to be, is on those pillars in the water. That is the worst place to be in this boss battle. I have to admit, I was a little underwhelmed with this boss, just like I was underwhelmed with the long shot being the item of the dungeon. But it's basically the water creature from the movie The Abyss, with a weird amoeba inside of it. That is the boss. Not very, I don't know, threatening, but it is definitely an annoying boss. So, first order of business, get away from the water. Get to the sides where the spikes are. Now, the spikes are there to kind of push you closer to the water and within range of the actual boss of Marfa. but they're really not that bad, and as long as you keep your wits about you and kind of stay along the edges of the water, you should be fine. So basically, the edges of the room are your safe spots. This is the safest place you could be combating him. That doesn't make it completely a safe spot. I mean, it can still reach you anywhere in the room. So as it tries to go after you, as it extends out its reach, that's the time to hookshot it. And I failed miserably the first time trying to hookshot it. It's gonna produce a little water tendril, try and reach for you. And if it grabs you, it's gonna do some damage. And I mean a lot of damage. Probably get in a couple hits. Probably get in about 3 or 4 if you're really good, but see, that was me not paying attention to the water or the spikes there. I was more concerned with the actual boss. If you're really lucky on the timing, you could bring the amoeba back to you before it even has a chance to recover, which is kind of funny. Oh, did you see that? Now he has 2 tendrils out. So he can now create 2 tendrils, not just on where he is currently, but elsewhere in the room as well. And as he takes more and more damage, he'll actually add a 3rd tendril to the mix. This was me freaking out at right around this point. This was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Ah! I think I was cursing at this point. Going, no! I was freaking out because I didn't know anything that was going on behind me. It could grab me at any moment, fling me around back and forth, and every time it swings you back and forth, that's another half heart or something lost, and it just flings you against the wall for some more damage. It's pretty painful. I think it does about 2 hearts of damage if any of those tendrils grab you. So pretty much at this point, it would be instant death for me. That's pretty much it for this boss. You just gotta be mindful of the other tendrils in the area. Like there's one that's coming up right next to me. I'm moving ahead. I'm moving on. Missed my chance. I'll just have to get another chance later. Telling you. Get in that water, gives you somewhat of a heart attack. As you are at your most vulnerable to this boss when you're in the water. For obvious reasons. There's another tendril, there's another tendril. I think at this point he's got 3 tendrils going on in the water pool at any one point. Looks like there's multiple ones right in the same area. Which is good, because it makes it easier for me to keep track of them. Whoa. And just like that, Marfa is defeated. One of the most unassuming bosses in the entire game. And with that, I guess this was... The water was a part of Marfa, I guess, and it wasn't really actual real water. It was part of the creature itself, because now it's just disappearing into nothing. Not really sure how that creature worked. And that is 1 heart container I will not be getting. With that, we are done with the water temple. Moving on to other pastures, as it were. like how every time you go to the Chamber of Sages, it's like a different entry point. Like the camera does a new move or something every time you enter the Chamber of Sages. That one was kind of weird and freaky, forced perspective type of stuff. I don't know. So, something really bad happened to Gerudo, because she's now here in the Chamber of Sages. Supposedly dead or in a different state of living, being, I don't know. I think we've had this discussion with Darunia. Whoa! Yeah, it's not going to work out between you and Link. Sorry there, Gerudo. Don't think you'd make good fish babies together. And with that, we have the coveted water medallion. At this point, I consider the adult timeline, what I have to do on the adult side of the game, I consider us halfway done at this point. We still got a lot more to do in the game, but at this point I feel like I'm halfway done being in in the adult portion of Ocarina of Time. I'm not really sure how this sorcery works, but apparently just by getting rid of Marfa, the evil as it were, the water of the lake rises, pretty much floods the temple underneath even more than it already is. Actually, technically speaking, that's pretty impressive for a Nintendo 64 game. For a big, massive area such as Lake Hylia, to have a rising level of water go up and affect the entire area. Like an actual body that affects the physics of your game character. That's technically pretty impressive for such an old game. But then again, what do I know? I don't know anything about game design, so, or the limits of the 64. I just think it's impressive. I mean, nowadays it's just like, oh, you can program and do anything with today's hardware. But back then, you had to do cheats. You had to do a lot of cheats to get certain things to work in games. Yes! And here is a small clue bird here, if you read this. Shoot for the morning light. What the heck does that mean? I didn't know what that meant, but apparently you need to fire an arrow into the sun as it's rising up over the crest of the mountains. And you get your fire arrows, which is something you do need for the remainder of the game for later dungeons. Yeah, shoot for the rising sun. Okay, cool. I didn't get that. I actually had to look it up. I had to look at, I think it was the guidebook, the official Nintendo Powers guidebook, to figure out what to do there. Because I could not figure that out. Shoot for the morning light. Shoot with what? Now, obviously, some people kind of figured it out, like, well, there's only one thing you can shoot with, and that's a bow and arrow, but, me being a little dense, when I was young, I just couldn't figure it out. But that's pretty much your only clue bird in figuring out that particular puzzle. Now, we actually haven't formally been to Lake Hylia as a child, or anywhere at this point during our Let's Play. Not that there's really a lot here to look at and see or do, but I mean, you got the fishing minigame over to the side there, so that's kind of cool. And you got the Hylia laboratory here for a couple heart pieces, so that's cool too. That's about it. I mean, there's a couple other extra things to do, like deliver a song to a scarecrow, like literally create your own song, and then you can summon him other places in the game. But other than that, there isn't a whole lot to do in Lake Hylia. Not formally. Where is... Oh, all the way up there. So at this point, there really is no clear direction where to go. I mean, I guess at this point you could go to Gerudo Valley and go through that whole area with the Gerudo and go to the Spirit Temple, and there's literally nothing stopping you. You could, with the long shot, get to the Spirit Temple. You don't need the item in the next one, the Shadow Temple, to get to the Spirit Temple. You don't need it at all. I mean, it's helpful, but you don't need it. So you can clearly do the Spirit Temple before you do the Shadow Temple. Easily. And I've done it before, out of order. The game kind of gives you a very clear indicator where you need to go next. Because at this point, players are probably going to go back to all the local, all the places they've known for a while, be it, you know, the Lost Woods, Hyrule Castle Town, Kakariko Village. And so the designers said, well, where is a choke point? Where can we stop the player where they're going to have to pass through to get somewhere else for a cutscene? And it's Kakariko Village. So this occurs only after you've beaten, I believe, the Fire Temple and the Water Temple together. You beat those two, and this triggers the cutscene. And it opens up the possibility of being able to get the Shadow Temple at this point. And we just saw you, Sheik. Woo! I have no idea what's going on to Sheik, but it don't look good! Oh man, that sucks. Kinda creepy. Shadow being. And Link has no choice. He has no chance at all. Can't even see this thing. And that's actually an important plot point. You cannot see that whatever creature came out of the well. But you're going to rectify that pretty soon. Now here's my question. Seal the evil spirit in the bottom of the well. First off, what was the evil spirit doing here in the first place in Kakariko Village? And how the heck did Impa, with probably help from someone else, was able to seal this particular beast inside the well? And why would she bother building a town with citizens and innocent people on top of this evil thing? Why would she do that? Unless she did that, she built a home, she built a village, she built a life around this seal, around this demon, to keep watch on it. Unbeknownst to anybody else that she opened up the village to, she probably built this village around this well, this prison, so she could keep watch. But she's not here anymore. I don't know where Impa is at this point. So obviously Sheik is unable to handle this particular creature, so that pretty much the job falls on us. Now we learn a rather unnerving song, the Nocturne of Shadow. And the game kind of points you in the next direction where you need to go. If you've not learned the Song of Storms from the guy in the windmill, now's the time to do it, because you're going to need that song. He's not even phased anymore that he escapes all the time with the Deku Seed. He's just like, yeah, whatever, do what you have to do, disappear. But we're going to continue on the next episode, figuring out how to see the Shadow Beast. See y'all later.